Just come back from the gym. Welcome to the video, guys. Today I'm going to be talking about male mastery, and due to the title of the video, we talk about why the gym and fitness is just level one of this whole journey to becoming the best man possible. So I decided to make this just because I've recently seen a lot of young guys in the gym, and it's quite funny. Honestly, it reminds me of when I first started. They'll be on the bench, like 4 of them, absolutely hogging it, and they're trying to do like a 1 rep max to like 50 kg, all like bent over and like doing all this shit like that side, and they've got to lift off each other. But it's making me think like, yeah, I'm glad they're in the gym. These guys are understanding that fitness is the first foundation of being a good, strong man who's able to hold his frame, look good, and just use his strength for good. And all that starts with just getting in the gym and building up your physique. But that's just level one. Guys tend to sort of realize, if they are really dedicated to becoming the best version of themselves on the path to male mastery, they realize that number 2 comes next, and it's finance, right? These two are essentially, you can just stop here when you're thinking about having a good male life, being successful, achieving some form of mastery, some form of, okay, this is the best I can be. You're fit, you're 100 kg, you're lean, you're strong. You can do, what are the metrics like? 1.5 times body weight bench, 2 times body weight squat, 2.5 times deadlift. Then you can start saying you're strong. And I need to get there, but that's a whole nother topic. But if you've got the fitness, you're physically imposing, and then you've got the finance, those are like the 2 main goals that guys just want to tick off. Those are terrible ticks. And say they're just done. Or say, okay, that's what I want in life. Those are my goals. That's my purpose, right? You look good, you're big, you're strong, you're physically imposing, you're rich, you've got your finances in order. That's great. But now we go to the third section, and really what I wanted to share today is what I should have said to start, really, is that I've been thinking about how a lot of guys will just focus on these two, not get deep enough into this, and I can talk about the way to achieve this sort of financial acumen or financial freedom is very misinterpreted in the modern day. There's a lot of bad advice out there. But regardless of that, they focus on these two, and that's all they want. But that is just cutting yourself short, in my opinion. That's stopping yourself from really achieving mastery, and that's why I developed this framework for being the best man possible. And that's just sort of how, I'm not saying I've achieved all of these things just yet, especially these last 2, but that's what I'm aiming for. And I just wanted to share that today and see if it can help you guys think about how you want to organize your life, what you want to achieve. But to me, this is the important next step, creative purpose. Because if you're rich, you can travel anywhere. What are the benefits of being rich? Right, you can get a nice car, you get a big house, you can travel anywhere. If you're fit, you're healthy, you're strong, you look good, again, you get the attention. And I'm not gonna say it's shallow, because it's definitely, getting these things is very important, and it shouldn't just be for the reason of like female attention or respect from other guys. But those are benefits, right? But past that, what else do you have? What else have you given back? You have to think, what do I want to see in the world? What do I want to see happen? And how can I bring that about into existence, right? So for me, a lot of it is film. A lot of it is storytelling. A lot of it is making a film, writing a story, or something like this. It can be as simple as you create something that exists for the benefit of other people, right? As much as this is me trying to get better at talking on camera, I'm also trying to see if I can help some people by offering just my thoughts and my framework here of how I think you can achieve a great male life. Creative purpose is the one thing that drives you in life. If you go to work and you've got, say, like a 200k a year job, that's fantastic. Some people will say, yeah, you're rich and you've got an incredible physique. Those are the 2 first attributes ticked off. But if you're still lost, you're still not feeling that sort of higher calling, which all guys in life attribute towards, because I feel like a lot of guys in today's day and age are chasing after goals that aren't even theirs. They've gone to school and they've just been told, okay, you've got to get a job to get money, you've got to get a nice family, and you've got to be able to pay your mortgage, settle down. Those are all goals that have been prescribed to them. And some of those goals are feminine goals, like starting a family, all of this. When it comes down to it, women around like age 30, that's a majority of them, that's what they want. Guys, not all the time. They might just settle down because they feel like, okay, this is what I should do by now in my life. But maybe it's not what they should be doing, and maybe they should be chasing after this higher purpose that really gives them that fulfillment. It's like those dreams you had when you're a kid. Like, you know, you say what's your dream in class? You say, what do you want to do when you're older? Some kid says he wants to be an astronaut, or he wants to be a fighter jet pilot. And then, you know, everyone laughs, or just, you know, the dream slowly fades after just going to school and learning, okay, wait, and I need to work for money. So your masculine creative purpose is anything that gives out something into the world. It's not just about money. It's not just about fitness and your health and the way you look. It's about what am I giving? What perspective am I giving? What new ideas am I giving? How am I innovating? It's a sort of entrepreneurial, creative drive to just give something out into the world that you think the world hasn't seen yet or needs to hear. And I feel like men are most happy when they're chasing after that purpose, right? When they're chasing after that goal that doesn't seem to have a true end. It's just make a film, okay, that was cool, then I'll make the next film. Or make an album, right? I compose an album, I make some music, I tell my story, and now I'm gonna just go to make the next album because I've got more to tell. It's just tapping into that like source of yourself, which is endless meaning, endless stories just to keep going and keep telling. Because I think you don't want to have lived your life without putting your mark into the world and have your say put out there. Okay, let me move on to mental freedom. And really this purpose, what I was talking about, I should have said before, it's all about freedom. Masculine purpose is all about chasing after that sense of completion, that sense of the goal, that sense of freedom. One of the best examples I've ever heard is in sports. Men love to play sports, men love to watch sports because it's all about breaking through a barrier to achieve freedom. You know, you look at American football, you look at English football, you know, the attacker's got to get past the defender and score. Breaking through an obstacle to achieve freedom, to achieve that goal of completion. And the funny thing about it is that it never ends. It's like a cycle, it keeps going round and round and round. But funnily enough, this is when I believe guys are most happy on their way to achieving mastery, on their way to becoming a better version of themselves by chasing that purpose. And if it gives something out to the world at the same time, if it benefits the world, if it gives a perspective, if they're creating something, they're building something outside of themselves, that's even better. Okay, number 4, it's kind of spiritual in a way, but I've named it mental freedom. So what this means is just absolute emotional regulation and spiritual soundness. So I'm gonna make a video, I think I've tried to record a bit before, but on silence and the importance of being able to just sit with yourself. Especially in the modern day now, there's so many external stimuli, so many things that can just distract you, keep you away from ever thinking, okay, what's my purpose? What should I be chasing after in my spare time? What do I want to achieve? What do I want to create? All of this comes a lot easier when you have this mental freedom, when you have this sort of outside third party, third eye, whatever perspective of, okay, I can see from like a top-down view what is going on here with my emotions, of how I'm feeling, with the way that you operate in the world and the way you operate in the sort of wider sense of things. It's hard to explain, but it's kind of like if you get pissed off in the moment and you experience that sort of aggression within yourself, frustration, it's having that detachment from it, or it's having that ability to see, okay, I'm experiencing this emotion, but this emotion isn't me. It's not controlling me. You're not reactive, you're selective. And that's what the mental freedom really is all about. And how do you sort of achieve this? I guess meditation, just awareness, consciousness. This is why I said it's kind of spiritual in a way. You have to be aware of these things. And this is what separates just these guys here who have just got the fitness, especially just sometimes just the fitness and the finance, from the more developed men, the ones who are strong figures who are able to protect others and serve others in a way that doesn't just benefit themselves. All these men, they understand or they operate in a way where they're not just reactive. Like if you've got a guy in the gym who's like, pumped up on steroids and he's really angry all the time, it's just reactive, something just pisses him off and in his head he's just thinking like, oh, oh, that was funny, let me just do that again. And in his head he's just thinking, fuck, like that really frustrated me. And he's not even thinking, honestly, he's controlled by that emotion. I'm not saying all these guys are going around being really angry and violent, but it affects them in their head, and that emotion makes them reactive. You see, I forgot what it was, but it was a couple of months ago, some guy online, like I think hit Jeff Nippard or something, some guy was on steroids in the gym, and that's reactive. That's his emotions, his anger getting the better of it. So having this sort of gap in between what you feel and what you think as well, because that's where it really gets to a higher level, and your actions is how you achieve this mental, spiritual freedom. Just knowing that you don't have to act upon everything that you feel, everything that you think, and that you really are the person who chooses your own destiny, your own actions, the way you react. It's quite stoic in a way. The Stoics always said, you have the external events, you have the outside world, and you have no control over that. Anything can happen. Then you have the inside world, and that's where your reactions are completely determined by yourself. And your reaction to that external world, to put it in simple terms, the outside world, the inside world is what you have control over. And the actions that lead you to mastery, that lead you to your purpose in life, those should be actions unfazed or uninterrupted by all of this external stimuli. You shouldn't be controlled by external factors. Your purpose, your mission should just be driven and should be uninterrupted and should be focused. And then we get to sovereign man. And I wanted to come back to finance and sovereign man because I wanted to talk about how I put this second, but it's really important and it links back into this here. Because when I talk about sovereign man, I talk about someone who has the most freedom. And I think freedom really sort of has become the topic of all of this because, again, I'd say that every guy in life, whatever their purpose is, whether they want to be that astronaut, whether they want to be that fighter jet pilot, whether they want to be some big director like I want to be, their purpose is all about freedom. It's all about breaking through that barrier to express their freedom or, achieve freedom for others. And the sovereign man, he has freedom over his time, his money, his location, what he does, and his mind, mental freedom. It's just like the ultimate, if you start and visualize the ultimate man, he can do whatever he wants at any time, any place. He has all the power, but he's disciplined. And this is where, the mental freedom comes in, where you choose to do the right thing. You choose not to react. You choose to act towards the good and the purpose that serves yourself and others. He has the discipline to do the best and be the best. He could go and, spend all his money on a yacht and do yacht parties every weekend, or spend all his money for TRT and just injecting testosterone into himself to keep him looking fit and young forever if he's getting older, But he does what is necessary. He does his duty, he does his discipline. And when you get to the sovereign man level, you're thinking of a cultured guy as well. You're thinking, this guy's got so much time on his hands that his money isn't tied up in, he's not working for money per se, or his money isn't tied up in all the time that he has to put out into the world. He doesn't have to work and spend a bunch of time working for money. He can go and learn a second language. He can go and travel the world. He can experience culture. And I think that's actually what it really is about, just learning. Because when you go down this whole pipeline, first you're learning to lift weights in the gym, right? And after a while, you just keep lifting heavier and heavier. That's a repetitive process. It might be hard at the start, but I'd argue it gets a lot easier every time you go, if you're that dedicated. That you're just lifting heavier, you're going back, you're feeling better, you're looking bigger, or you're looking leaner, whatever it is. You're eating better, and it's like a positive upward spiral. Then you learn about finances and you learn to keep your money in order. You keep that cash flow coming in. You keep yourself more mobile, more free, and you have more income. Then you've got that creative purpose. What are you outputting? How much are you learning? How much are you taking what you learn and then molding that into your own thesis or your own perspective and giving out into the world? And then the sovereign man just decides, okay, I'm going to keep learning. He stays humble, or not even humble, maybe grateful that he has the opportunity to learn every day and to do something new, to experience something more. And he goes on to learn another language, or he becomes trilingual and he goes to the Himalayan mountain to learn meditation with some monks that live up there. The point is the opportunities are endless, and that's again what it comes down to. Freedom and options. Those are the two things that I think every guy would never say no to. That's the thing that ultimately in their goals they're striving for, no matter what however that goal sort of manifests itself. And the last thing I sort of wanted to say about the sovereign man and finance, I'm going to make a whole other video on this, but it's just about the new opportunities we have in the modern age to really take control over our finances, our money, and fight back against a system that, you know, if you weren't born rich, if you weren't born with money, is designed to just keep you down and keep you working, keep you less free. And there's a lot of options for that. You know, people go into investing, they go into stocks, and really the first point is to start saving your money, saving that time and energy up, and trying to escape the system with what you've stored up from within the system. I watched a good video on this actually, where this guy was talking all about how people stay stuck and stay down in the financial system. So on that hamster wheel, if they just keep spending, they don't save up and store their energy to go and invest in another place and go and delay that gratification of just getting whatever it is from what they're spending and giving it to their future self so their future self can benefit more. But when I'm talking about being sovereign and having that financial freedom, ultimately, I think the answer is Bitcoin. I'm going to make a whole other video about this, but when you come down to it, you have investment vehicles, right? You've got stocks, you've got something like gold, now you've got crypto. You have all these options, but I think when it comes down to it, Bitcoin is the best option because anyone can invest any amount of money into it and they'll see those returns because it's that appreciating asset that has the fixed supply that will just amplify any sort of, well, really just money that they're receiving from the system we live in and amplify that. We'll talk about that another time. But all I really wanted to do was just clarify that, yeah, the young guys in the gym, they're on the right path by starting off with fitness. But really, the gym is just level one to becoming the best guy you can possibly be and to getting some mastery out of what ultimately is a short male life, you know? You don't have any options until you're 18 to really start doing things that you really want to do. So really, when you're 19, you're 1 year old. When you're 20, you're 2 years old. You think of it like that, you start thinking, oh, okay, maybe I need to start thinking about putting all these things in place so that by the time I'm like 30, 40, whatever it is, just for your future self, to become a better man, to have better options, to have more freedom, to be on my purpose, and just say at the end of your life, you know, you've lived a good life. You've lived the best life possible. And I'm on the same type beat. Like, I'm going to start off here and I want to go down to here. So I just thought I'd share this framework and see what you guys think. Let me know if you've got any questions in the comments, and let me know if you want like a deeper, in-depth dive into all of these concepts and how you achieve them. And I might make one of those presentation videos where we just go in and explain step by step how I think you achieve this. And obviously it's high concept. It's going to take ages to achieve. But I think it's just a good framework for achieving male mastery, having a good male life.